All right, so now that I'm all set up in this video, we're going to talk about how apartment locating can enrich your life and your lifestyle. Basically, this is just going to be a video about why apartment locating is awesome and all the positives that you can expect, and maybe positive things about working as an apartment locator that you didn't really think of before watching this video. I'm sure that'll actually be the case, so you don't want to miss this video if you're considering making the career switch into real estate as a real estate agent, and you want to just work as an apartment locator and leverage the niche because it is, relatively speaking, the easiest job title in the whole entire real estate industry that you can do to actually net, actually net six figures at the end of the year compared to any other job title, right? So whether that's being a mortgage loan originator or a traditional realtor that deals with houses, or maybe a property appraiser, right? Whatever job titles in real estate, I argue, and I have been for a while now, that apartment locating and leveraging your active real estate license to help people find apartments as an apartment locator and really taking that angle and approach inside of the multifamily industry is the easiest thing you can do to actually earn six figures in the business with real estate as an agent, right? So with that being said, let's talk about 3 or 4 different points on why working as an apartment locator can really just enrich your lifestyle and just bring a lot of good positive vibes and happiness and success and free time and money and ducks in your career and in your life, right? I call ducks, like dollar bills, bucks, ducks. So that's why we're all real estate duck hunters. If you joined the private Facebook group, then you would understand the inside joke, right? So the link's below, join the private Facebook group, and let me show you how to kill it with this industry. But without further ado, let's get started on the first reason right now. All right, so yeah, the first reason is because you can do six figures in a year and actually do it, right? So what do I mean by that, right? The average commission as an apartment locator, when you help an everyday person rent an apartment, is about 1 month of the contract as commission after you refer them to their apartment complex, right? So how does that work, right? You just market your service and generate a lead, someone that's interested in renting their first apartment or their next apartment, right? You send them a list of like 10 options on your apartment locating database that you pay for. That's only $50 a month. So that's your overhead. Isn't that crazy, right? Your overhead's only like $50 a month realistically, because all you need is a database to get started with apartment locating. Maybe a premium database is like $100 a month or so, right? But $100 a month for your overhead, that's crazy, right? A lot of the other softwares I teach to do the job efficiently are free. That's just so awesome for a six-figure income to have $100 overhead, right? But all you do is you send a list off to someone, apartments in their desired area within their desired budget and size. And then eventually when they pick an apartment off your list, if they remember, and if you get them to remember to write your name or your company on their rental application at the time they fill out their application, there's a spot that says, how were you referred? If they write your name or your company or both, it gives you the ability to invoice the property for your referral, right? For bringing that client over and referring them to that community, right? So commissions will vary per building, but typically I see the average is like just a month out of the 12-month contract, right? So sometimes I see buildings that pay like 2 weeks of the first month as commission. So I don't know if your rent is like $1,500 a month, then your commission might be $750. But sometimes they pay you a full month. If the rent is $1,500 a month, then it would be a $1,500 payout. But sometimes I've seen as high as 2 months. If like the unit's been vacant and sitting for a while and they really want it leased, sometimes buildings will pay you 2 months of the 12-month contract, which if the rent was $1,500 on that one, that would be $1,500 times 2, which is $3,000 per one closed referral, right? So that's not a lot of money really when you compare that to closing a house as a traditional realtor. So I get it, and that's where the confusion and that's where this whole entire business niche gets overlooked and goes over everyone's heads. Like some realtors don't even know about this niche. Isn't that crazy, right? But the reason that's happening is because the payouts are only like $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, right? But the thing is, you can actually help people rent an apartment on a daily basis, like twice or 3 times in a day. I've done 4 times in a day once, right? And so if you're each netting $1,000 per referral, and you're doing 2 to 4 a day, that's like $2,000 or $4,000 potentially in a single day, right? So for the month, after 30 days, it's very, very, very viable and realistic to do over $10,000 that month, right? So that's why this business all makes sense, right? Even if you're leasing one client every other day, right? That's still 15 closes in a month. If the average rent is like $1,200, then what even is that? 15 times $1,200. That's like $18,000, right? And that's just helping one person rent an apartment every other day when you have systems in place to do exactly that. And your broker is probably giving you free leads and you're probably generating your own leads, right? And to be honest, in this business, it's not that hard to close people because unlike other sales jobs and other industries, it's not like we're selling them some commodity or some item or physical product that they absolutely don't really need at all. Like, I don't know, a super expensive set of knives, right? No one really needs a super expensive set of $500 knives, right? They could still go to Walmart and get like a knife set for like $40, right? So the point is, we're not selling anyone something that they don't need. When you generate leads in this business and people reach out to you for assistance, you're helping them rent an apartment, which they absolutely have to have no matter what, because we're talking about housing. The number one thing you need after like oxygen and water and food is housing. Right? So that's why this business is very, very reliable. And when you help these clients, all you've got to do is be polite and then just give them what they're looking for. And they're going to secure their own housing over selling them some product that they don't even need. Right? So it is very, very realistic and not that hard to close people when you're giving them what they need, right? As long as you're polite. So that's why it's realistic. This business will always be around forever because people will inevitably always turn 18, move out of their parents' house and rent an apartment before they buy a house, right? So it's super, super possible with just helping clients rent an apartment to net 6 figures your first year, right? And then what do you think they do after they rent an apartment, right? Those people will probably later on in their lives buy a house where you've just built a relationship with them because you helped them lease their first apartment. So later in the future, as long as you keep up with them and contact them with tactics I teach, like using a CRM, then you can help them buy a house in the future, the same client without any additional lead gen, right? So it all makes sense and you can absolutely definitely make 6 figures. I started making 6 figures when I was like late 19 or when I first turned 20. Probably when I first turned 20, because I started working this job when I was like 19. I had like 4 months left before I turned 20. So I started working this job, but at the end of that year, just a few months in, I netted $100,000, over $100,000 my first year. If I can do it, you can do it, because I'm definitely not a genius. It's just not a hard job to close people if you have any sales experience at all. And even if you don't have sales experience, just think of it as like you're just giving someone what they need and what they're asking for. They're just asking for you to help them find an apartment that works, right? So it's super easy to close people, and you can definitely make 6 figures because the numbers don't lie. And if you just help 10 people a month lease an apartment every single month, that's over $10,000 a month, because that's what the commission payouts are, and the numbers don't lie, right? So that's why it's pretty awesome. If you've never earned 6 figures, to go to earning 6 figures, your life just gets better. I don't think I need to elaborate on that anymore. But let's go on to the second reason why being an apartment locator is advantageous and will help you in your life. So the cool thing about apartment locating is that with this job, all you really actually need is a laptop, maybe a cell phone, and then just Wi-Fi connection, right? That's all you really need, because a lot of apartments, not all of them, but a lot of apartments allow you to do the job, send over referrals to get paid on without actually showing up in person at all. And even the apartments that require you to show up in person with your clients, you can still invoice them and make money even if you don't do that. Like, that's what I teach my students. A lot of agents, they ask these buildings if they require them to show up, and they do. Some apartments require you to show up, and then they just never try to invoice. What's funny is that I teach my students to go ahead and send a list, not worry about which apartment they go to, and whether or not they require us to be there physically. I have a response always saved for every situation, right? So if my client leases an apartment and that one single apartment required me to show up with them in person to get paid, I just send them an invoice anyways, and then send them an email and a video explaining to them why I work remote and why it's advantageous for me, my income, better for the client, and then better for the property themselves that I not show up. Like, I have thought out smart responses for all of this stuff, right? It's better for me because I can work less and make more money. It's better for the client so they don't have to race around the city to meet up with me and then follow someone, which is dangerous for their health. Like, following people to properties is not safe. And then it's like I'm not breathing down their neck and following them around an apartment. So I explain all of that to the building, and I explain to them that it's advantageous for the building to not require me to show up because they can hire their own staff on site to give them a tour without it being a conflict of interest between the locator and their on-site staff. Thus, we can also focus on generating more leads and sending them more referrals if we're not physically having to show up, but instead working on our marketing, right? So it's really beneficial for everyone. But anyways, I can still get paid on buildings that require me to be there even if I'm not there, and I teach my students how to do the same thing, right? So if you're interested in my coaching, then check out the link below, or at least join our Facebook group. It's free and it's super valuable. But anyways, with that being said, we can work remote with this industry. And if you can work remote with this industry with just a laptop and a cell phone, then that literally means you can be in any part of the world that has Wi-Fi, right? And like cell phone reception. You could be in Japan or Paris or London. You could be in any one of these, the Bahamas. It doesn't even matter. So the point is, you can work while on vacation. I know no one really wants to do that, but the point is you can take a vacation. You don't have to be limited to how long you want to stay in that foreign country or on that vacation, and like work a little too if you want, and then your income doesn't even have to be drastically affected. That's why it's super cool. This job is so super friendly for people that value traveling, which I think you definitely should, because traveling is like almost the greatest thing you can do in life, right? And this is a job that works directly with allowing you to travel. So that's just super valuable. And even better than just making six figures is that you can make six figures, but also travel the world. You don't even have to stop working. You can still make more money while you're on vacation, right? I mean, sometimes I lease 2 people in a day. How cool would it be to just on your 7-day vacation, on the beach or wherever, or in the resort, you just work for 1 day, make $2,000 real quick, and then just resume your vacation. And now you're happier because you just made $2,000, right? So there's just so many positives of being able to work as an apartment locator. And if you compare that to being a realtor, you can't really even physically do that as a realtor if you're dealing with houses because of like the lockbox and people's requirement, right? People take renting an apartment not as serious as buying a house, right? Things are much more professional. The environment has to be more professional. There's tons more questions to be asked and answered when they're buying and purchasing a house. They need to get approved for a mortgage, which you don't need one if you rent. There's just so much more work, and you have to be more involved and then do more, in-person appointments are more expected if you're a realtor dealing with people that want to purchase instead of renting an apartment, right? People rent apartments the same day when they move jobs because they're not owning the property and they don't really care anyway, as long as the deal is like normal market rent or just a good deal, right? So the point is, it's much more laid back, and it allows us to work remote. You can't really do that as a realtor because what if they want to go see a bunch of properties and there's a freaking lockbox on the door, right? Whereas if we send clients over to an apartment complex, the apartment staff gives them a tour and takes over. So we don't even have to be there. right? But if your client's interested in houses where there's no staff, then who's going to unlock the thing? It just doesn't make sense as a realtor. So therefore, it's not really possible to only work from home as a realtor, but it is possible as a locator. So you might as well be a locator, right? Let's move on to the next reason other than just making six figures and being able to travel. The next reason that it's positive to be an apartment locator is if you ever wanted to advance into being a realtor or just taking on more of a bulk of clients because you want to start selling houses to make 10 grand a piece. You know, being a locator, all of the time you've spent being a locator, all you've been doing is making commission through apartments, but you've also been establishing, you know, relationships with people that will inevitably later in their lives buy a house. So in a way, if you work as a locator, you are already setting yourself up for success with your hundreds of leads and people you've helped build a relationship with and closed an apartment to. You're building that relationship and you're setting yourself up for success. If you ever want to switch and be a realtor, at least now you have hundreds of people that you can reach back out to that might be interested in buying a house since they've been renting for forever. So that is a positive. You know, it's like you don't have to shut the door on being a realtor. You're actually just being a locator and then setting yourself up for success when you do want to explore selling houses. So I thought that was a huge benefit. But let's move on now to a bonus reason, right? I guess I'll do a bonus reason that I've noticed personally in my life. I know this is a real estate channel, but honestly, I've been very, very interested in like physical fitness and health and working out and stuff. And one thing I've noticed is that, you know, I've gotten a lot of comments from my followers or my students that, like, you know, through my course, since it took me 16 months to make my like apartment locating coaching program, in my course you see me like gain muscle and get bigger. And I thought that was funny that a lot of my students were noticing that and like sending me DMs like, dude, you're getting big, you're getting jacked, you know. But one of the reasons that I've been able to do that successfully is because of the flexibility of working remote and from home and on my own schedule as a locator. Right? I mean, it's really hard if you're interested in working out or meeting your fitness goals. This is like a perfect job for that because, you know, it's hard to meal prep all the time and then work out 5 or 6 days a week. You know, when you have to show up in office and drive here and drive there, like driving is physically exhausting. And then at the end of your workday, you don't feel like working out. Well, with me, I can wake up, do a bunch of work at home, and then actually still lease people in the gym too if I want to, right? Like in the middle of a bench press workout, I have literally taken my phone out, taken an ad call, and then sent a list on my mobile phone and then probably have closed them for $1,000 or $2,000, like in the middle of my bench press workout, right? So it's just really cool that I can not sacrifice my physical fitness and meet all of my workout goals and then still work and then make money, right? So that's a little bonus reason. If you do have health or fitness goals, it's just a great job to get involved in and not slack in hitting the gym, right? So I thought that was a cool little bonus reason, but I swear I have a clip of like me taking an ad call. One of my friends recorded me like actually working in the middle of the gym. But anyways, yeah, it's super interesting and you can definitely meet all your fitness goals and still make 6 figures and still set yourself up for success as a realtor if you want to get involved in houses in the future. And it's just a wonderful job, especially because you don't need a college degree. All you need is a real estate license and then education on how to dominate this industry and this niche, which I can help you and I can hold your hand and walk you through how to do everything right in the most basic way and in more advanced ways with digital marketing and automating the whole entire business. So if you are interested in this business and you want me to hold your hand and walk you through A to Z exactly what to do, then just click the link below, check out my program before the price rises, because we do have a lot of great new ideas that we're going to implement. So before the price is the same, lock yourself in, because when the price increases and there's more updates, you get all those updates for free. So check out the program below this video. I would love to be your mentor and your real estate coach. And at the very least, join the private Facebook group because it's free to join. And we give out free leads just for being a free member. So click the links below and check them out in the description or the pinned comment below this video. And I will see you guys on the next one.